just wanna make things right. Walk, keep us on the road. Try to find what we had before. Get this spark ignite or is it gone? Won't you stop? Don't you shut.
Good evening and happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great day, and it's early evening. I want to welcome you all to, I guess we'll call it Intimate Conversations with Indie Love, with my friend Miss Bailey West. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. Let me share this video before I mess something up. Did I share? Okay, I did. Wait, let me share it again. Make sure I put it in the group.
Okay.
I'm doing good though. I'm excited to talk about this book. I'm really excited.
You know what? I am too. And usually lately when you try to send me something early, I'd be like, nope.
I know you surprised me.
It's like, nope, I want to wait. But you have been working so hard on it, and we had talked about it, a couple of times, and so it was like, hey Monique, hey Velda. I was like, yeah, give it to me. As long as it ain't in pieces, give it to me.
I was surprised. I knew you was gonna say no. I don't even know it made me ask you because you always say no. But you was like, send it to me. I was like, ooh, and because I wasn't all the way ready.
That's okay though. That's okay because when I got it, I think I was reading something. I was like, "Ooh!" As soon as I let me hurry up and finish this so I could dive right in to this. So, tell me a little bit about where this story came from, and for those of you who don't know.
Right. So Pastor Israel was actually in the very first book that I wrote, which was Blues Beauty, and which, arguably is my most popular title.
You think so?
Huh?
Is it?
I think so.
People still run back to blues. Okay.
They all go back. So he was written in Blues Beauty with the idea of at some point giving him his own story, but it's been years, right? Because I released Blues Beauty in 2016, but I saw an opportunity when I wrote Loving Man to start this whole new Metamorphosis series, and with this series, I wanted to anchor it with his story. So I was able to write him in a little bit into Loving Man and then give him his own story. So he was hard to write, but I got it done.
Oh, I think everybody loves Pastor Is. Like everybody. Like I know I did. And I loved Leona, which we all fell in love with. Leona, Tatum, Angel. We loved, all of them in Loving Man. So thank you, Chanel. Hey, Angela, Shalise. So yeah, like I say, they're saying you did a good job. Pastor Israel. So he starts off with a bang.
He does.
I mean, him and Leona crushing on each other, and they run into each other, and it's the most wonderful couple of days that they both have, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
And I think we love his integrity throughout the whole situation, because he could have went the other way and just blasted Jennifer, but he didn't.
Right.
So I think that gives him cool points with us too. And even though Leona didn't give him a chance to explain himself, which is what we women tend to do, I don't want to hear it. I'm done. I'm over you. We don't want to listen. And if we take the time to stop and listen, but then by the time it's like, I should have listened, now your pride is, and I don't want to go back.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I feel awkward going back to you to say, okay, I want to listen now, because you never know which way the wind is gonna blow with that. Right. So I know I texted you and said I did not like his mother. Right off that.
Right. Yep. Yeah, she
Okay,
was.
so wait, before we dig in there, as I was sitting here making my notes and going through and trying to remember everybody's names, girl, where you get all these names from? I mean, you went straight old school with some of these church names. These women, I mean, the mama
Oh, like,
name, no.
what is his
You
mama name?
named Apostle Esther.
Oh, Esther. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in the Bible. She had to be a woman of a certain age, so I couldn't, so I just tried to find something that was biblical and named her that. But Esther is an old name, yeah.
Very, very old. I'm not even, yeah. Okay. So Israel and Leona, 5-year time span. A lot has happened in 5 years. He's got his divorce. He's moving on, and it's time for a change. I loved how you brought in Roman Blewett in the very beginning, just as a memory and the conversation that they had. And it reminds us of the character and the type of person that Roman is, and why him and Israel are friends, because they are so I need to turn it off. They are they are similar in the way they think, the way they teach to their congregation and all of that. So because that's how they were friends in Houston when Roman moved to Houston, right?
Right. Israel invited them to speak at that event that was in the book. So Roman went to that, yeah.
Right. Okay. So the 5-year span, talk to us about that.
I wanted to give them some time to grow up and mature. And I also needed to give Israel time to actually come into the person that we see in the book, because he describes himself prior to the divorce and prior to being with Leona as a person he mostly was just a people pleaser, but he was a church kid. His parents, his mom was, she climbed the ladder in their church organization. And so he had a lot of eyes on him. And as a pastor of a preacher, a daughter of a preacher, people watch you, and so you always try to make sure that you're doing the right thing, saying the right thing, being in the right places, and so that gets tiring after a while. I don't know if some people maybe never get to the point where they realize that's a lot, but when you realize that's a lot, you quit, and you got to get to the point where you don't care what people think, because people are going to have an opinion no matter what you do. But I wanted to give them both some time to mature and understand life. She had to grow her business and become the boss that she was, and to accept who this real man was that was coming into her life. So the 5 years was really important.
And I'm trying not to jump, but I love the fact, I love his growth. I loved her growth. And I love that at first she was like, because in Love and Man, she was like, whatever. But here's like she had some time to calm down and not just be totally, I ain't got nothing for you.
Right.
She recognized that she still had feelings for him. But whether she wanted to move on those feelings or not is what her dilemma was. And not knowing what the real situation was in the first place. Now, these gossiping heifers you put in here.
Oh, the saints and the ain'ts.
The saints and the ain'ts. Lisa and Cara, who is it, Cara?
Yeah, Cara.
Lisa and Cara, who are the most gossiping. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was getting mad. Like, you bringing up old stuff. Why are you bringing up old stuff? Like, and that's what we do. We forget. First of all, that you ain't have all the facts.
Right.
But then on top of that, you're going to bring up something. You're trying to taint me as I'm making a new adjustment.
Yeah.
You're tainting my new future. You're trying to taint my new future.
Right.
Bringing up old dirt. And then going to say, hide your wives, your kids. Like, dang, I'm like, You trying to make the man sound like he was a pedophile or something, and that ain't even what
Nope.
that was all about.
No, but this story came from, so I remember a few years ago, like 2021, all those years just blend together. So I'm just going to say pre-quarantine.
Right.
We saw an influx of a lot of gossip coming out of the church about people who were sleeping around and cheating on their wives and all of this stuff. And so I remember seeing a lot of blogs about it, Facebook posts about it, interviews about it. And nobody that did any of those posts or blogs or interviews even really knew the truth. Like just going off of what they heard.
Right.
And then we all carried it, you know, they had a discussion about like, can you believe he blah, blah, blah. But we don't know what happened in the people's house. You know, we have no idea. And so I built the story around the idea of what if the world attacked this person based on the call on his life, but it really wasn't truth.
Mm-hmm.
And what if this person just accepted that because of the integrity of who he was? Then how does that work? And so that's really where a lot of this came from, was really seeing a lot of that happen and like, dang, like that's crazy because we really don't know, but it's a juicy story, you know. Probably what Cara and Lisa felt like. I mean, this handsome man, and they probably thought he was cute and decided, you know, clickbait, because if you see his picture, you'll probably click on their, you know, on their video or whatever and see what they were talking about. But yeah, they were a mess.
Did you have an inspiration on what Pastor Is would look like?
So I do and I don't. So I saw this man floating somewhere on Pinterest or somewhere, and he was just a gorgeous man, but he was a man, you know, and he had a thick curly hair, and I was like, yeah, this is because he is gorgeous. He is gorgeous, yes. But his demeanor, I didn't really mimic that after anybody. I just wanted them to have a level of class, you know,
very.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheriff saying it was an authentic story. It really was. And now I did ask you this after I finished. We're gonna go there real quick. And y'all can throw your questions in if you have some. Have you had any pushback on Pastor Is having sex as a pastor of a church?
So I did a little bit. I have not a lot. I think that people, maybe my readers, you know, the people that support me and read my novels kind of have an idea of what I'm gonna do anyway. Mm-hmm. Although Blue and Zanetta did not have sex until they were married. I mean, they messed around, but they did not have intercourse. But I sent it out to somebody, and she said, girl, when I read the pastor having sex, I cringed. And I was like, what made you cringe? And she's like, I mean, because it's the pastor. I know, but he a man. He's a man. Like, come on. Like, and so.
And this is what I found interesting. He's a man. He was with one woman that he had planned to make. Not, you know, we know what the doctrine says, but I am a believer of the walk. My walk with the Lord is between me and the Lord. It don't have nothing to do with you. Stay out of my four walls of my house.
Right.
So I didn't cringe. My thought was, oh hell, Bailey gonna catch hell by.
But you know what? That's one of the reasons why I don't market my book as Christian fiction, because it's not in the sense of what it is to believe as a standard.
Right.
You know, I think it is Christian fiction, but it's not. It doesn't fit into that box that Christian fiction has become.
Not at all. Not at all. Because Christian fiction, they ain't cussing each other out. They ain't playing dirty. They ain't doing, you know, no.
Right. It's real clean. And that's okay. But I'm just trying to show real life, even though it's fiction. You know, I want it to be a message to come across. And a lot of times, if you can't see yourself in the characters, then you ain't getting no messages. You know, it's not going to sit with you. You're not going to relate to it because it's kind of phony, you know, and I don't want them to be phony. So yeah, so when I heard that they, so let me go back. when I decided that I was going to write this book, and I knew that he and Leona had this passion for each other, and I knew that logically, two people who had been together and then have a chance to be together again would do it. Like, you know, like they're grown, they're going to have sex. But there was a struggle for me to actually write it. So, like, I sat with this story, like, okay, maybe she could get convicted and say, no, she's not going to have sex. Then they won't do it. Like, I had to be forced into this storyline because of things that, you know, the foundational truths that I've been raised on.
Right.
So being outside of that is hard sometimes. Once I finally did it, it was okay, but it was a struggle for me. It really was.
It's very realistic. We're not gonna say no names because we had a conversation, and Bailey was like, "So and so, what you think they doing it?" And I said, "You think so?"
Oh, I named everybody. Girl, come on. Yeah. Like, we see a lot of these pastors who are single or in relationships, whether it's a public relationship or a private relationship. If those, I mean, typically they're going to probably be getting it in. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really the mindset. And I think what I've learned through this story and in my conversations with myself about it, and then really seeking God, like, I need help to get this story out because it's not going to make sense if it don't go this way. That we really have made intimacy such a dirty thing, you know. And so you look at two people who are committed to each other and that's their business, and he ain't sleeping with every woman in the church, then it's just a believable story, you know. You will believe it if I wrote it and he slept with all the mothers in the church.
Exactly. You know what I'm
saying? Nobody
would buy that.
Yeah, nobody would say anything. But when it comes to looking at it from a different lens and really understanding that when you have a call on your life, you do, but you're still a human being.
A human being, you still have feelings, you still have struggles, and I think that's where Christians, whatever denomination you believe in, is where we make the mistake that people are still people. They still have their struggles. They still, you know, they still sin every day, just like we do. Even the best prophet. Even if it's not, I didn't put my seatbelt on. Well, you broke a law. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, who gets that petty? But then in a sense, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. What I loved about Pastor is when he came to the church is he took his time to make the changes that he needed to make that would fit the mold for him. I laughed so hard when they talked about them outfits that the praise team what I'm like, where's she been? Who church she been visiting and she pulled this up at? Where
I've been to so many churches. I have been, so some people may not know that, but I've sat in leadership roles in church, right? Which is why it's easy for me to write about it. And so it's hard to those of us that have been leaders in the church to go to another church and just sit as a bystander. You're always paying attention.
Exactly.
Everything that's going on. And so I always notice just little nuances, but I was at a church and all of the ladies on the praise team had on those straight, you know, J. Renee suits with the shoes and I was like, I know y'all uncomfortable. Like, I know y'all hot. It was just so much. But that's one of the problems that I have is that we try to appear to be holy on the outside, but we're not holy on the inside. So you could cover up them women with all of them clothes, all that stuff come off. Like, them skirts can come up, them panties can come down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be a relationship and not just the appearance of a relationship, you know, and that's what I try to get across in my stories. And I think that's the point that Israel had come to, is that he realized that he didn't want to just be saying something. He wanted to be something, you know, he wanted to do it for real.
Okay, so let's talk about his mama, because I tried to respect, even though she was fiction, I tried to respect that she was an apostle, But she made me so mad with the way she was treating her children. And then what I was like, how you got this even keel husband and you are so judgmental with the expectations of your children? Like you've chased your son, one of your sons completely away.
Yep.
And poor Abigail, she just has a calling on her life, but her struggle. So you, and I'm gonna talk about Abigail too, because I had a feeling. I was like, something there, homeboy doing something he ain't got no business doing.
Right.
But Apostle, because like I said, I text you and was like, I don't like her. I don't like her off the bat. Even when she redeemed herself, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. All right. Well,
right. She'd already done so much damage. So growing up in church, I knew people who were like her to an extent where they were just so focused on the Lord that they really, and all that they really, not the Lord, they were so focused on the appearance of being so focused on the Lord that they really neglected a lot of other things, you know, and she was a prime example of that. Like Doug really was the one that came in, like Israel said, and really made sure that the family had some balance, took care of them, because she was just so fixated on climbing that ladder and being this public figure, you know, of being this person, that she just completely neglected her mothering,
right,
to a certain extent, because we do see that she prayed for them, you know, but she just wanted them to be perfect in the eyes of people, and she just made three very strong-willed individuals, probably just like her, that just wasn't going for it after a while.
They had a little more compassion than what she had.
Yeah. So I think that she finally came to herself, but I think that she, you know, it took her a long time. Thank you, Beverly. It took her a long time to get to that point, and it took the story of realizing that she could lose all of the stuff that she was fighting over, to get, you know, that she was fighting with. She could lose it, so she didn't want to lose it. She got better.
So Abigail, man, just out here
doing the most, most. Friend,
right?
Her armor bearer, like the person that's closest to you,
and then you show up at the
like, and I wanted to go more in depth as to why she was there, but she made me mad showing up in my head at the party. I just wanted to get rid of her. What are you doing here? Like, why would you show up to this? Like,
I don't want to talk and explain. No, sis, no.
Yes.
No. I wanted somebody to lay hands on her so bad.
I did too. I had thought about it, but they all knew better than to swing on somebody at Apostle's house. Although Leona was like, I'm finna do whatever they doing, you know. But
I'm with it. I am with it all. I'm with it all.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so now I'm gonna jump a little bit. I loved the relationship that she had with her family, and the family dinners. It reminded me of our family dinners before family members started passing away.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, even in our household, we still try to eat together at least 2 to 3 times a week, and definitely on Sunday. Well, we try. I'm going to say 2 to 3 times a week, which is important. The family dynamic is important.
Right.
So, I love the relationship between her mom and her aunt, and her cousin Queenie. Even though, you know, the fact that Queenie had a child when she was so young, the family was still supportive and by her side. Waiting in that boy Jabez. I just want to know that. It's
in the Bible. So Jabez also is in the Bible. Jabez has that prayer. It's a very short scripture, but he talks about enlarging my territory. So you hear that song, "Enlarge My Territory"?
Yes.
Prayer Jabez. So
I know the name. I'm a church girl too. I might not always act like it, but I grew up in church too.
A certain way to be a church girl.
But so I was just laughing. I was like, boy, she went through the Bible and she pulled names.
Yeah,
she went down the church roster and pulled names.
I did. I'm looking over at the names for the rest of the people in the series, and for the most part, yeah, they.
That's about it.
Well, okay. No, actually, I think that I've basically exhausted all of my biblical. Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, no, it's some more. Yeah, they in there. So, oh well, no, you met Zachariah, her brother.
Yeah, but they don't call him. I'm used to the name Zachariah.
Yeah. You ain't never met nobody named Jabez?
No, ma'am.
I don't think I have either. I don't think I have either.
Look, and now that I'm down in the South in the Bible Belt, no, ma'am. No.
Jabez is that? So none of them little baby students you got named Jabez?
No. No, don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I got. Well, but my most favorite name in the book is what's her name? Hennessy. What was that baby name that was like Hennessy?
I have no. I'm surprised I didn't text you when I saw that about. Okay, wait, what are we doing here?
Oh, why did I name? I just get a kick out of coming up with silly stuff. And some of the names that I come up with actually are real people's names. It's just not very common names.
Right. And then you change the spelling and how they're, because you gave Jennifer, you did it with a G, which was very unique. Yeah. So, y'all, let me just tell y'all. I had a feeling and I texted her. I said, I just want to put it on record that Jacory and Tatum, that's who she's messing with. Tatum and Jacory are getting it in. And at that point, I don't think I was just on a suspicion, but I wanted it on record that I figured it out beforehand. So when she come home and they getting it in, I would have just, I don't know if I would have been as calm as she was. But I guess that's an attest to their friendship.
She definitely freaked out. I mean,
right, but I'm just saying, like, she was like, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Like talk myself down. Okay. But I think that's a testament to their friendship as a whole, period. The whole living together. And after a while, somebody is going to be attracted to somebody, right? Whether it's mutual or not, that becomes the question or the dilemma. So I'm sure they're going to get a story eventually.
So I've been thinking about it. So in my original plan for this series, they were not going to have a story.
Really?
No, okay. They weren't going to have a story. So yeah, so some of my characters in my future books for this series haven't even been introduced yet, but okay. I didn't think that I was, or with Abigail and Ryland, but as I started thinking about it, I'm like, this would probably be a good opportunity to throw in like some shorter stories within the series. So they'll probably, both of those will probably be shorter stories that I'll probably need to push the timeline forward a little bit to get to the next book. So I don't know when they'll come, but I think that both of those couples will have a story in the series.
I love that Abigail is moving to Sable Falls. So I love Sable Falls, period. I love Sable Falls. I love that you created this town, this city that is all inclusive, but it is a full-fledged city. And when Leona was taking Israel around and showing him houses, this is what I loved about Israel. He was like, I'm gonna know it as soon as I walk in there. And his vision was everything of the dream. Okay, see?
Yeah.
The dream.
So I don't know if I kept it in there or not. I think I did, but one of the things that Israel prayed for when he prayed about Leona being his wife is that God would show her that he was her husband or that he was for her. And so the dream was kind of confirmation for him. They got to answer this prayer, although the dream wasn't like spiritual necessarily. Right. It did confirm, the prayer that God had heard his prayer and that he had answered it. And I needed to set that stage because I needed to show that he was a man of integrity, even though I know that he did throughout the book, but I needed to show that he was only coming for her. Like this was something that would happen with just any random woman that he met. but he had a goal, you know, and she was his prayer. And so that's why he pursued her the way that he did.
Now, I will say this. You didn't put a real villain in here too much. I mean, I don't want to call Apostle a villain. She was just who she was.
Yeah.
But the only villain you put was this Vivian Shaw, and they got rid of her quick, fast, and in a hurry, moved her right on. So no villain this time.
No, and I thought about making Vivian a solid villain, like competition, but it didn't flow with the story that I was trying to tell. It would have taken me too much off of the course of the relationship that I was really trying to spotlight. Because I wrote her in for her to be straight competition, you know, like coming for Israel all the time. But she fizzled out in my brain as I started really putting this couple together. Because I've been writing on this book for a really long time.
I know.
Yeah. So people have come on. Yeah.
They don't know, but I know it was You was working it. You was working it. I loved and hated that, you know, you brought the blue men in.
Yeah.
Brought the children in, and they're not babies anymore.
No.
They're grown, they're young people. And our favorite person.
Yep. BJ.
Our favorite person, BJ, you know, just to see him grown and mature. How do you keep up with all of that?
I knew that at some point I wanted to mature BJ. Right. And
here they go.
She was something else. Vivian, she was a mess. But I knew that I wanted to mature BJ at some point. I just didn't know how that would be. And so this book gave me the opportunity to kind of grow him up some. And now he like girls. And
right.
But then it also showed that him and his dad have that relationship where, you know, like his daddy, like, she older than you. And he like, I don't care. So he just like Ezekiel, you know, he's just like him, even though he not his biologically, he is his child running through him.
Right. So Queenie and Kim. Okay.
Queenie and Kim are actually the next story that I'm working on. I saw somebody ask about them. They are in my next book, The Awakening, which is the second book of this series. And they are best friends. They best friends. I'm not positive how they will evolve. I know some of the things that are going to happen, but I'm not positive. But I know that they love each other because they've been in each other's lives since they were kids.
Right.
And he's helping her raise a baby that's not his. So I
was going to say, is that his baby though for on the side? They just don't want nobody to know.
They say no. Does the family, like, they adamant that it's not they, and you know the way that they came to me, the baby was not his. Right. It's somebody else's, but he just loved her enough that he wanted to take care of him. So
I mean, he is straight daddy mode. Like we had a conversation about this, and you know, I know, and I was just like, wow, why aren't they together? Like, y'all fit, and y'all run businesses concurrent. I'm gonna say it concurrent.
Right. He built a business for her to own, right? Because it's his company, right? So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm brainstorming them. They will be unique because Queenie in my head is a super unique plus size girl, you know. So I have to showcase her personality and then kind of morph them into whatever they're going to be together. I just don't know how yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that I'm trying to look at my other notes. What I got on this other page? I already got that. The Ugly Praise Team outfits. I already wrote that. I already talked about it. I didn't write a whole lot of notes because I be trying to go off the top of my head. I was trying to make sure I had all the names down. And but you know who we know about Joe, but not a whole lot about Joe.
And I don't know if we ever will. I think he's just one of those people that you know, it's important to push the story, but I mean, he married, so I don't think that, and they got a baby. I mean, I could kill his wife and the baby, then give him a love.
Oh my God. I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant.
I mean, I could take her out the picture.
No. That's not what I meant. Okay, let me jump to Abigail and Rylan then. Let's move on to them. Because I know they're gonna end up with a story. I just love the fact that they were googly eyes at each other.
Yeah.
I love that Abigail is going to Sable Falls. Gail, I'm gonna say Gail.
Yeah, Gail is moving. She got the job at
the
University, yeah, which is actually a mashup of my parents' names, John and Henry. But she is going to, it's an HBCU, so she'll be teaching there, which is what she wanted. But what's so funny to me is that nobody,
even KC said no, don't.
Like, yeah. I mean, you want a story? I'm not endeared to her. I could take her out. I could take her and that baby out.
No. See, I did not. That's not what I meant, and you know it.
In another book, I'm dedicated to Joss and the conversation that we had in March about giving him a story. So one of the interesting things though about Rylan is that he has been around since Blues Beauty, and nobody noticed it because one of the reasons why nobody noticed it is because we didn't really say his name until Paxton's Peace, but he had a whole role in Paxton's Peace and nobody realized that it was him. So I thought that was cool.
Right, but we were focused on the other characters in Paxton's Peace. They had I can't think of his name right now. It starts with a C, right? Or a Q, or
who? You talking about of his team that he was working with? Oh, you talking about Count? Countay. Yes. Countay. So Countay, Layla, Rylan was a part of the group, and is one or two more. But Rylan was basically the leader of his Paxton's military group.
So it wasn't just me that it went over, because you asked me and I was like, I think no, I don't remember him. So
and
it
I
wasn't
thought
just
somebody may ask when he said that him and Paxton served in the military together, because when he came to the house, he was like, "What are you doing here?" He said Paxton invited me. So Rye dealt with stuff in Ezekiel's Passion. Like he's been around. So probably his story will maybe talk a little bit about some of those things, because he can be dangerous when you deal with the people that he loves. So that's why the family, he has the security business and stuff, and he sort of is like Paxton to an extent, where he watches over the family, but not just the family. He has a job protecting people. So I'll be interested to see how his story flows. Kind of have an idea, but not necessarily.
Right. And then you gave us a little bit of Angel and Xander, and a little bit, just a teensy bit, as my colleague says, just a teensy bit, where we can see. I always love that we don't have to necessarily have a follow-up book on them, but if they're mentioned in the story, it's just, for me, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, it's just enough to know, they're still doing good. Okay, of course they're still doing good. Man is still growing up. Yes, because we all fell in love with Man. Everybody fell in love with Man, that whole story. So that was great. So let me ask you, is this on your agenda to be turned into an audiobook as well?
I don't know. I got a notification from the company that I'm working with the Love and Man book today, and I was like, no, if I'm gonna do this again. Like, I don't know. If I do, it'll probably be more so an independent thing, which is difficult. But I would probably go more that direction, I think, this time than I would necessarily doing something with a company. I'm not sure. I know that if the audiobook is is what people really enjoy. I'm not an audiobook fan necessarily. I had such a hard time. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I had such a hard time listening to the more intimate scenes of Loving Man when they were being read. And in my head, I could read them, but when I heard the male voice with it, I was like, oh my God, like that's a lot. Ooh, that's a lot. Woo, have me clutching my pearls. So I don't know. I want to expand these books and not just into the common areas that we talk about, like with audiobook, but I would love to see them on stages, and I would love to see merchandise and things like that come from Bailey West, and not just a typical thing. Audiobook would be cool. If you want to start listening to some voices, let me know. Yeah, but you probably need to wait till the summertime because I know you be busy with school and whatnot.
Yeah, and that other project.
We can talk about it later.
Right. So what else do you have in store for Sable Falls?
Ooh, everything. So Sable Falls they have their university now. They are going to have a baseball team. They already have a basketball team. They have a military installation that a joint base where they teach people how to be service members, how to be helicopter pilots. And so I have a story about that.
Oh my God.
Sable Falls is going to be a metropolis. And it's so funny. I was talking to a group of ladies about Loving Man, and one of the first things she's like, so now where is Sable Falls? Is it New York? Is it California? Like, I be needing a geographical location. And I said, I can't give you that because then I can't put everything in it that I want to be in it.
Because everybody can come there. If you live in New York, you can come. Yep. If you live in Los Angeles, you can come. It doesn't,
Yep. Yeah, it's like Springfield on The Simpsons. They never said what state the Simpsons were in. It was just Springfield. So just got to use your imagination. I mean, it's fiction. So when I first started out, I stayed in real locations like Houston and St. Louis and places that I was familiar with, New York. But then I was like, I want to just build a place where it's just a bunch of Black people doing really Black things and building this Black thing, So that's what I'll have. I think that the Valence, Samuel, and Avery probably will do some legal business there at some point. Like, I'm just building it into this big giant metropolis. That's what I want it to be.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is that's awesome. We didn't talk a whole lot about Israel and Leona and their journey because stuff is popping in my head as we're talking. And the love that they ended up sharing for each other. And I could relate. Well, let me just say, when I say I could relate, I mean, if I ever was to date somebody that's a pastor or whatever, I don't see myself being a first lady because my mouth is slick.
Mm-hmm.
And these women that I just, the Lord would have to really work with me. So I understood, I shouldn't say really, I understood her hesitancy of not wanting to be a first lady. But as we saw, she had a love for the church. She had a love for him and the things that she wanted to do, and the things that he was doing. It just came natural for her because she just seemed like a natural giver anyway. So as long as that title wasn't put on her, it makes it easier to fulfill that that calling.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. And that's how I wanted to write it. I wanted to really make sure that we understood her stance as far as not wanting to be what she perceived as a typical first lady.
Right.
With the pursed lips, sitting on the front with her knee, her ankles crossed, with a hat on, and what we like we have a perception of pastors, we have a perception of first ladies, right?
Right.
And she didn't want to be that. She wanted to be something different, you know, but she
Right.
knew that she loved him, and she knew that since he loved the church, she had to be there for him, you know, and so she just found her lane.
Which was great. And I love that they are all business minded outside of the church. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, the condominium part and
Mhm.
how you let it be known just in that little bit that the Bluettes we will go see a whole lot more of the whole Bluette clan with them buying pieces of property in there, like, oh, they're gonna be back. So we have
Yeah.
some place to land when we come
Yeah.
to visit. It's like you said, it's gonna be a metropolis. I think that I love when authors are able to create their own cities and towns and colleges and
Yeah.
showcase a different side of a positive side of the Black community.
Yeah, you know me, and you know it's my dream and my goal to see us thrive as a community. To have those things like the Black Wall Streets and the things that made us prosper and keep our money in our community, let our dollars circulate like it does in other communities. And so that's always my dream. So, if I'm writing fiction, then I'm gonna write what I want to see and what I want to read. And that's what it is. Like, I don't know if so far I've encountered a character in my head that didn't have something going on that enhanced the community, so even with the future ones that pop into my head, I know that they will impact the community on some level, as I think we all should.
Now, we didn't hear too much about I was looking for Xander's sister and the farmer.
Oh
Like
yeah, they didn't. They didn't have a whole lot to say. I knew that they wouldn't have a story because I knew that I wasn't really taking too many other characters from Loving Man to give them anything else. But I did mention that they are dating, and that he's doing okay. He will be back, maybe in the third book or so. So maybe she'll be back too. I'm not sure, but his horses and all of that stuff will play a part in that third story for sure. But yeah, they didn't have a whole lot. And I did mention BG, and I thought about her as I was writing. I was like, I need to do something with BG because everybody really enjoyed her, but
they did. Oh wow. The
yeah,
character inspirations they had at BG.
I know.
Girl. Especially when, at first, we didn't have in Loving Man, we didn't have a whole we didn't have a whole lot until she showed up
Mm-hmm.
and was like, oh, this ain't your everyday grandmama. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, BG may have a love interest at some point in this series. I'm not sure. I've been kind of
A season.
Probably a younger man.
Did you say younger man?
Probably a younger man.
Oh wow.
You think somebody gonna keep up with her? Not somebody got to pop pills and nothing. She like. So we'll see. I don't know. Just throwing ideas out there, but that may be the case with her. I did enjoy her character, and I know that in one of the books I was looking at, some of these characters and some of the stuff they have me thinking about doing these books absolutely terrifies me because it's so outside of my comfort zone. But some of the things that I've been thinking about, I may need her expertise. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I see Casey in the comments. You started working on that vampire book yet, Casey? You thought we forget? No.
She gonna work on it. She gonna work on that vampire book. She is. So, I know I touched on Ja'Cory and Tatum, and he walked. Okay, just so y'all know, Bailey asked for some names. I was gonna say Ja'Cory walked up to me today. It's amazing seeing my babies now that when I had them when they were fourth graders, and now they are sixth graders, and they so tall, and their voices have changed, and I just be like, oh, don't walk up on me. You almost tall as me, or you taller than me. So, will they get a story? Did I ask you that already?
Yeah, they are gonna get a short. Yep, they're gonna get a
story. Okay.
Well, a shorter story. I can't say it'll be a short, but it'll be shorter than some of the other novels.
Okay.
Casey said, "Man, please stay on track." Girl, you know we can We can multitask. We can multitask.
Nelly said she would love to read about a woman in my age group.
Miss Beverly, I know. I didn't heard that. I just don't know if I can authentically give you a story about a woman in your age group all the way. I can hint to it, but because I haven't been where you are, I don't know if I can. A lot of the stuff I write is from experience, but you're right. It would be great to have a story about, finding love again later on, especially at BG's, especially in your age group. That would be dope. I just don't know
BG's age group.
Just in her she's in her 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's Angel's grandmother. So
right.
She was closer to 70. Angel was closer to her, maybe in her 30s, closer to 30. So
and my mother might read it because she's in her 70s.
And see, I want them to be like, this little girl. Because think about stories that people write that is not their thing, but they write them, and then you be like, this is not the truth. This will never happen. And I don't want to do that. Because I have twin aunts who are 76 or something, and I mean, you only 70. I think she's 76. Yeah, and so I understand, and I would love to represent them. So that's why I try to do it in my stories the best way that I can, but not necessarily writing a love story.
You can give her a boyfriend in one of the stories.
I think I'm gonna give her a nice guy that, blow that back out.
And then Angel will be like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's this?
Probably support it because Papa have been gone for a while by the time that happens. So
yeah,
we deserve to, get it in too. So
well, anything else you want to share with us? If you guys have any questions, those of you who are here, because my notes are all over the place. I didn't make a whole lot of notes.
You thought of the installation service?
It was awesome. Like, even when his mom got up, I think that's when I got a soft spot for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's redeeming herself. She redeemed herself there, and she redeemed herself at her house.
Yeah.
When Susie Q showed up and was like, if you don't get, like, Apostle about to step, look, don't play with me. Like, this is the how's it go? I can say that to my children. I can do this, but can't nobody else
exactly
do
right.
that.
Exactly. Yep.
Nobody else can do that. No, I think whenever you I always learn something, I always gain something. Even when it's the church services and you're ministering, I always gain something. Always, she said she loved the installation service.
Oh, Zanetta's words. Yeah, Zanetta. Zanetta, she be at it, giving those amazing words. She gave a word.
Always.
Yeah, she gave a word in Serving Time or Free and D. She gave a word to Blues. I mean, she get around. Yeah, her word was great.
Yeah, Erica, I wasn't feeling Apostle, and right off the bat, and like I said earlier, I text Bailey and was like, I don't like her. And I said, okay, bye. That was it. That's the text. That's the message. I don't like her. Okay, bye. I hope she gets better. But, so she redeemed herself a little bit,
She kind of explained herself. At least we know that she loved them. She just didn't necessarily know how to be a mother. But when I wrote, because that's not initially what I was going to, initially I wasn't going to let her say nothing because she got out the car critiquing hair and also, like, she was just so overbearing. And so I thought that would stay her character. But, like, if you hear authors talk about their characters, especially those of us that don't plot, because I don't plot, I write. And so they'll change their mind on you, when you'll be like, oh my goodness, I ain't even think, because I thought we was going to hate her to the end of the story. Like, I thought maybe she would have some problems with Leona, or
I just was like, if she gave Israel hell for leaving, especially when he was like, my season is over, and she was like, season? This your own. What you talking about, season? I just knew when Gail started talking about leaving, I was like, she really gonna blow a gasket. She gonna say, Israel, you try to take all my children away and move them to say before. I just knew she was gonna, so the change was pleasant. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I don't know if she necessarily, I mean, she calmed down. She probably had those thoughts running through her head still because she is who she is. But I think she's just learned to bite her tongue or at least pick and choose her battles. I think a lot of it too, though, what I enjoyed about her husband, Doug, was that what he said was true, or what Israel said about him was that you would think that he would be a beta to my alpha mother, but he's not. You know, he could keep her in check. And you notice that when he told her to stop, he got upset, but she ain't said anything else about it. You know, she respected his role in the family. And so I appreciated that about Doug. I enjoy writing him. But yeah, I had no idea she was gonna say that at the installation at first. I really hadn't planned on her saying anything. But then I was like, well, I guess it would make sense that since his mother's this big wig in the church that she would say something. But then I didn't think that she would do that. I cried when I wrote it because I'm like, that is crazy. Yep, they tell their own story. Yep, we are. We really are just the vessels. And I always, I hear different authors say, like, I plot it out or I just write it as I outlined it. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like, I've tried so many times to outline the story. And it did not work for me because they changed their mind.
Yeah, she did. I think she did. Yeah, because she took the job at the
HBCU. Yeah,
HBCU. I love that you made it an HBCU.
Right. Yeah, Gail is gone. Gail is moving to Sable Falls. Maybe Apostle will follow her at some point. Wanted to find the ex. Yeah. So this is the question. Did you know that he didn't cheat on her? Like, did you realize when you were reading the story that it was a lie? Yeah,
I did. I realized when he was trying to explain and Leona would not listen. I was like, there's more to it than this. I never got the vibe of him being a cheater. To spend so much quality time with her. And then it's like, well, how, if that's the case, but I mean, a man can find a way to do whatever. A low down man can find a way to do whatever. But he spent so much that there was so much quality time spent in that short period of time that they spent together, that week that they spent together. Your phone wasn't going off. You wasn't calling up, he wasn't calling nobody. He wasn't, because I got a neighbor that stands outside and talk. And Devin laughed at me. I said, that's cheating tendencies. And outside.
Yeah, you don't stand.
Why are you always outside on your phone? Why?
Right.
I said there was never, I just never felt like that. And then when the Gossiping Sisters was going, I was like, it's more to it than that. Yeah. It's more to it than that. And it made us, even though we really didn't get to know Jennifer, it made me think, well, you just let him take the heat for your foolishness. And then when the mother kept saying, well, have you talked to Jennifer about this?
I know.
What? No. She has no say in my life and what I'm doing at this point. I loved when he in the church. They was in the church when he checked
yeah, at the church. Cara.
I was like, okay, Israel, don't play with him. Don't. It's like, I ain't necessarily gonna take the high road. Yeah. You keep on.
That was one of the things that somebody pointed out to me about him was his level of integrity, that I knew that I had written into the story, but I didn't realize that he really was protective of women. So even though his mama would do silly stuff, he would leave when he felt like he was getting to a point where he couldn't take it. Or when his ex-wife did all of the stuff she did, he took the heat. Or even with Cara, because he could have blasted her and her family a long time ago. He was like,
oh, yeah, you put that grimy in there on her family.
Yeah. Yeah. Then his secretary, what is he? He was his personal assistant, whatever he was. His secretary was like, and I will share it. Yeah, because that's issues of information. Spreading rumors about everybody else in your family is a mess.
A hot mess.
Yeah, that's how it happens, though. The loudest talkers always have something going on that just take a little bit of dirt to uncover it,
Right.
But I did appreciate the way that he still protected her, even though, you know, so he had a level of integrity of protecting people, which I guess lends to his pastoral anointing, but he could have demolished a whole bunch of people. He just chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
Dana.
did too, Beverly. I loved his assistant too, Dana. I love when these strong men know, I'm not getting no woman. Let me, you know, and the fact that Dana was a straight man, had a wife, and a baby on the way, right?
Mm-hmm. I had to write that in there because you know how we do. We'd have made Dana gay from jump. You know,
you heard me just say a straight man.
Yes, I had to tell you because I don't want nobody be like Dana want the pass. No, he's straight. He's straight. Like no, that's not the story. So I had to make sure that I explained that. And I had to explain that Ja'Cory wasn't gay because he was hanging around the women so much when I wrote Loving Man. But now you see, yeah, that's like why he won't always be, I mean, why he with the girls? Is he gay? No, he likes one of them. He just want to be around her.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know why we lean on that so much, but no, he wasn't gay. He was a man. And then another part of the book. So I cried when I wrote Apostle's speech. I was like, this is so sweet. I can't believe she's saying this. But the other time that I cried is when the family sang to them at their wedding. That took me down.
Yeah, the cousins and everybody got together.
Yeah. She was like, look, we would never sing together again, but they sang to them at the wedding, which is Total Praise, one of my favorite songs too. But I thought that was sweet. So it was a couple of areas in this book that really tugged at my heart because as the author, you don't know, like, you know, like Casey said, we just a vessel that's telling the story. So we don't know necessarily how it's going to always turn out.
It was, you know, I'm always, you know, gas you up, and not just because you're my friend, but it was a very, very good story. I loved it from beginning to end, and I can't wait to see what happens next in Sable Falls. I know it's a process. Boy, do I know it's a process.
Yes.
It's a process. But I'm looking forward to I mean, I've loved, you know, everything. I always love seeing old characters, you know, and you mentioned Valentine's, possibly, you know, making an appearance down the line. So it's always great to see old characters. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a whole story, you know, on them. Yes, it was a great book. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy, my own personal copy, you know. So if you come into Indie Love, I'm sure they will be there.
They will be there. Yes, they will, with bells on. I was gonna say, we got to say that we're gonna see each other at Indie Love. We ain't seen each other in like what, 2 years?
2 years.
We did. Since we met, we did travel somewhere every year. And
every year we have traveled somewhere, and we ain't been nowhere. No, I still got my St. Louis Delta ticket that's like been extended to 2023 now. So
we was gonna have so much fun in St. Louis too. But
man, I was looking forward to it.
Corona says
I was in denial to the end, to the very end. Look, they canceled the flight. I didn't cancel the flight. They canceled the flight for me.
Right.
My hotel was canceled. Like, wait a minute. But
right. Yeah. I enjoyed writing this book though. Once I got over the hump of the idea of what I really wanted it to be. These characters, I fell in love. Like one day I realized like, oh, I really like them. Like I really like Pastor Is. I was afraid that I wouldn't write a dynamic enough character to really feel what I was trying to say, but he came through. And so I'm excited about this book, and I'm glad about the reception that I've received from it, because I didn't release anything except a short story in 2021. So to come back with this and to have everybody support it was such a blessing.
I don't think did I tell you it's our book of the month for the book club, for Indie Love's book club. Yeah, we meet next week actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to send you the link, tell you to pop in.
Yeah, so I can see what everybody think. But yes, so I enjoyed it. So coming next for the Metamorphosis series will be Awakening, and that is Kim and Queenie's story. And I'm not positive how they will unfold and be together, but they will be together. It's their story, so don't have to. Somebody kept saying like, so who next? And I'm like, I don't know yet, but I kind of know. Y'all want to just put it out there, but I'm putting it out in the atmosphere that'll also be on the table at Indie Love. So
okay,
yeah, so keep me in your prayers.
Okay.
I'm putting it out there, and I'm saying, your words have life. So
right, manifest that.
I'm gonna have both of those on the table at Indie Love. So
awesome. Well, I so appreciate you. Already know I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your encouragement and your love of not just me, but all of our Black independent authors. It's so many people out there with platforms that never even recognize the things that we are doing, but you are not one of those people. You support everything that all of us do. And so I say that on behalf of all of us, that we appreciate you, Indie Love. Thank you so much.
Thank you. She's trying to make me cry, and I'm not going to do it.
You got some lashes on?
No, ma'am. Y'all don't understand. No, I don't have no lashes on. I just have on some mascara.
You look cute though.
Thank you. Thank you on this good old Friday. They ain't going nowhere but downstairs to the kitchen. I'm still in the house. Yeah. So I thank everybody that participated, that threw out some questions or comments. We appreciate you for spending some time with us on this Good Friday evening. I will leave it on. Now, y'all know she pulled me out of my comfort zone. Y'all know she did, because this normally would have been done in the readers group.
Right.
But hey, Robert, nice for you to join us.
Hey, Robert, how are you? I hope you're doing okay.
So I will leave it on the page, because I'd be like, it's got to come down. It's got to go to YouTube and watch it. But I will leave it up. I left up the symposium from Saturday. It's still up and moving around. So I thank everybody for your support. Those of you who are coming to Indie Love in June, I look forward to seeing you, and I will be back. I have 2 more interviews that are going to be popping up this week. One with, not this week, soon, with Takora Monique and Ashanti Keys. Those will just be some interviews introducing some new authors, and you'll get to know them. And those will be uploaded on the YouTube channel. So again, thank you for joining us on this Good Friday evening. You all have a great weekend, unless you have something else you want to take us out with, Miss Ma'am.
Nope, I'm good. Thanks everybody for watching.
Have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.